welcome to today's issues, where we come around the table and discuss all the current affairs in our city of Pittsburgh. And today I have with me at my table Miss Tiffany, Miss Kill, and Miss Pam. It's the girl day. See, the first time to say that, hey, there was one guy there, poor Bernard. I thank everybody from my cast on my first episode, Bernard, Amber, and Miss Robin. And this is our second episode. Yay! And today we're going to be talking about a lot of good things today in our discussions. And we're going to start off talking about how do we feel about our Pittsburgh public schools, about our charter schools, and about our our
education as a whole.
And this education in its whole here in our city. And sometimes it's other cities too be having these issues too, as far as their education and just educating our children in our communities and everything. So I know that we have a new school board, that they just got some new school board members, because I did go to a couple of their forums with a lot of people that was trying to be on the school board. I know Dr. Holly, she got back on.
Yes.
And that's good. I mean, she's been around.
She's for the kids, right?
Yeah, she's been around a long time. Where she started off as a teacher, and then she was
a special education.
Yeah, and then she was like a vice principal. Then she was a principal, and now she's on the school council. And I think that that's how it should be. I think you shouldn't just come in out of college and just go straight to the classroom, then straight to be a principal. And then, you know what I mean?
Right.
You have to get in there and get to know our kids. And I also feel that we should have teachers from our communities.
Right.
Definitely.
To reflect our students.
Yeah, if you have somebody working in our school systems, and I don't care if it's a charter school or whatnot, you know what I mean? You want somebody that
Can relate to our
can
children.
relate to our children and know the families, know the history of that side of town that you're teaching in, because then you'll be more effective if you were part of that community. And I know Ms. Pam got a lot of stuff to say about that as far as how we treat our kids in our school systems and in private schools too, that have special needs.
Yeah, but if you were saying something about the teachers, I think it's really important to have teachers that reflect students in the communities. And if you look at the teacher preparation schools, there are really not many black people that are going into that profession. So I think we need to do more with that. I think we need to, there's programs in Chicago, there's a great program called Grow Your Own, where they take people from the community who have the interest and have the ability and turn people into teachers, paraprofessionals, teachers, and I think we've gone the wrong direction.
On how we do get our teachers,
and how we get
and just bring them in and be around our kids. And one thing I be seeing a lot on the news, and it's sad, it's just how many people are around our kids that aren't quite right.
Nowhere near right.
Nowhere near right. Be dating the kids.
Well, and also, I know when maybe 8 or 9 years ago, when I first really became involved with education, they had not done background checks on teachers for a very long time. One of my mentors, she hadn't had her background check done in over 30 years. So part of the problem that we have with our teachers are, besides the drugs and now they want to have relationships with our students, is that the kids are too personal. I mean, they make it too personal because a lot of it has social media, because everyone becomes friends with on social media, and they feel there's a different connection. They build different relationships. But also, we don't really know their backgrounds after a year or two that they're in our kids' lives, because a lot of things happen, and we need to really start enforcing the background checks. And we need to there needs to be better regulations on outside relationships with our students, with our children.
Now, how do you feel about as far as social media and just, teachers and being friends with the students?
Well, before I go into the social media, I wanted to say that the whole idea of not having a background check in 30 years is scary.
Very scary.
Because your life changes.
They've changed
Well,
it.
even back then, but now it's obvious that the background checks, like the recent episodes of people that had incidents with youth, they're saying he passed his background check.
Right.
So you're passing a background check, but something else is missing.
But also, because they're only doing them from our state, they need to do them, they're just recently starting to enforce the FBI checks, but that needs to go all the time. They have to really enforce that. We can't do anything, even for parents coming to the school, they only do locally. We need to really enforce the background checks across.
Teacher dating a student probably
Oh, no.
had no background.
No, that comes more
definitely.
back to the interaction,
Definitely,
like the side
definitely,
interactions that are going
And some of it
unnoticed.
starts on social media.
Yes,
Some
and that's
of
what I was gonna
teachers
say.
Because they become
and
too
students
familiar.
too friendly with the kids. You don't need to be.
In some schools, they don't let you. Your teacher cannot be your your
No,
friend on
most-
Facebook or something like
They'll
that.
have a separate page that's just like a classroom page that is not personal.
Yeah.
You can go there to get classroom information, what happened in your class that day. But some of them are actually becoming friends on their personal pages, and the relationships become kind of blurry, and they think there's actually really a
that's not
friend.
cool.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to also say is that I'm a product of the public school system, and I lived in the housing
So am I.
projects. Or,
So am I.
So being
So we're
a
public
product,
school,
public
yeah.
school kids was different 15,
Totally.
20 years ago than it is now. And my daughter homeschools her child, but what
I did
really
too,
is
so-
scary is that when I went to school, I lived in the housing projects in the Hill District. Our teachers were afraid of us. So I really never learned how to do math like I should have done math
Oh,
because
that's interesting.
because when I sat in the math class, the kids were disruptive and playing and fighting, and it got to a point where the teacher said, sit down, stop, and then she just said, and
Wow.
she didn't want to teach. So if you go into some of the schools, the inner city schools, you'll notice that if you don't get those real passionate teachers, those teachers that really have this desire to want to see a change, they get burnt out.
Yeah, you can get
You
burned
can-
And there's
get
also the
burnt out.
opposite side of that too. I know when my son was in preschool, his teacher had the Save the Little Black Kid syndrome.
Oh, yeah,
Because she didn't feel that some of the kids were hugged enough at home, so she would sit on the mat all day and hug the little boys.
Yeah, just like I know you need to be loved, little brown
They're
boy.
not really
Too jealous.
understanding. Yeah, so they're not really understanding, and that happens a lot too in our
yes,
schools. Is
yes.
that they have the mentality that they want to save them, and they're
Instead
not
of
actually
teaching them.
helping them. They're
Yeah.
trying to save them. So it's getting lost in the process. But I can say that. Todd and Destiny my two children went to Pittsburgh Public Schools for their first 5 years. They went to Pittsburgh Fulton, and they had great, wonderful teachers. It was an excellent process. They're beyond brilliant. I'm really not patting myself on the back. but
You
no,
can pat
they're-
yourself.
Yeah, but they're really
girl.
intelligent kids, and they started out their first 5 years at Fulton, and we had great teachers because they really cared about the teachers.
And that's the one thing you
And
got to
the-
do. You got to care about the kids.
And the process of that concerned me about Pittsburgh Public Schools, that I know in Fulton, all of our teachers were together. They weren't moved around, they weren't changed. We had a strong building. Most of our teachers were in the building for like 15, 20 years together. So we had a very strong, secure, family-oriented building, and our kids learn now. And now we have too many, the teachers are so scared they're going to lose their jobs, they're going to be furloughed, that this is happening, that's happening. So we have to get our education back under control from the teacher standpoint too, because they're under a lot of stress.
Yeah, so my children went to Liberty, which was also a really good school, and exactly what you're saying, to build a community in a school where the teachers feel safe and supported, right? So the teachers
Definitely supported.
The teachers need support. The teachers are under a lot of stress right now. There's 33 kids in a classroom. I mean, they've taken money out of education
From
All the way
everywhere.
around.
So you don't have nurses in our schools anymore. You don't have librarians. You don't have the music and the art, and they've taken it to bare bones.
Gym.
Yeah, all that's gone, and so the kids aren't happy, the teachers aren't happy, but you need to make the school feel like a community again, and whatever it takes in that community to make sure that those kids have what they need and they're supported. But we've taken education into a totally
I
different.
don't even know what direction are we going?
We've
with
gone
that?
in a direction of accountability
Privatizing.
and privatizing
Responsibility
and
is
testing, and it has
Testing is awful.
It's ridiculous. So we can't prove that the school's good or not good based on test scores. We have to prove it based on lots of different things. And the
But you're
teachers,
just teaching for tests.
Right,
teaching.
for the test.
And they don't even know what they're learning from those tests. They
No,
just want
we
to
don't
make sure they get
actually
the numbers. They want to get the numbers.
Right, we don't even actually get a real test score back to see where they achieve. We just get one number
You know,
across,
I
so
don't
we
like
don't
that
see.
proficient and proficient above. I mean, can I see some numbers?
Yeah.
Or actually see the areas. We need to see
Yeah.
the areas where they excelled or declined or what's actually really going on.
Thank you. So you get, oh, you know, you're basic. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
I don't know
yeah,
what
that's
that
not
means.
good.
It's
That's
like
not
range and mode with me.
Yeah.
My son came home, he was, I forget, like first grade or something, first, second, and I had to sit down and help him with this homework. It was like, describe range and mode. I'm like, is this appropriate for a second grade? And so I literally had to go to the school and go to the teachers like, I don't know how to help
Range
my
and mode.
child
Yeah, range
because
and
I
mode.
don't know what this means.
And you know, one of the sad things is too that our youth have issues like post-traumatic stress disorder.
Constant.
And they have
That's
depression.
major.
And they have disorders that are caused because there's so much craziness in their surroundings. You know, if you go to school and you witness somebody who got shot, or your mother is an alcoholic, or your father's in jail, you're dealing with these issues, how are you going to really learn?
So there's a lot of
There's a lot of things going on as far as when a child goes to school. You have your home life, you have your street life, some of them, you know, and
Well,
then sometimes they have health issues too.
Right, one thing that was disturbing to me that really kind of put perspective on it for me is that our children, if they don't see it, they hear about it constantly, someone getting shot, this happened, that happened. But there was a school bus driver, not a student, not someone in their neighborhood, but there was a school bus driver who died in a car crash in another school district recently. And when those kids came back to school, they had grief counseling. Our children never get grief counseling in our schools.
Because we don't got no counselors.
Right, but I'm saying but that's the difference. But that's the difference of how our kids, they don't learn how to cope. So it turns into other issues.
And the learning disorders,
They don't learn how to cope. They don't learn how to deal with conflict. They don't know. They don't learn how to
deal with their real emotions.
But you know, one of the good things is that our children are very resilient.
Very resilient.
Very resilient. They bounce back. Our children will bounce back and become doctors and lawyers, because when you think about it, if all these crazy stuff is going on, everybody would be messed up.
Right.
But we all went to public school, and we're
I
here.
just think public school back to me
Totally
was just
different.
totally different.
Yes, it
like
was.
you can't teach these set of kids like you taught us. Like we lined up, we came in the classroom, we sat at our desk, we said the Pledge of Allegiance, and then
you listen to your teacher.
and we continued on the day. You know what I mean? We understood like
You might have
consequences.
had one kid in the whole school
always
that
got
was
one-
bad,
Yeah.
but now you have like a whole half a class, at least a half a class of kids that are
act up.
disruptive.
Okay, we're going to take a break and we're going to come right back.
All right.
This conversation is getting good, y'all.
Make sure
You join
Our discussions
with.
today's issues. And we're back. Wow, ladies, that was a good conversation. we was going in on that. And one thing I noticed about with the schools and public schools is they took the arts out.
the arts, yes.
The
it's
art
awful.
program. I mean, I used to love going to art class. You had all them classes that we had. Music. They took out the music.
Yeah, music you could do instrumental starting in third grade.
In
Now
third
it's
grade.
fifth.
Right.
And there's barely.
Well, the music
so-
teacher is only there like twice
a
a
week.
week.
Once every 6 days. They're on a 6
Oh,
day
for
schedule.
real? Oh,
They're on a
wow.
6 day schedule, so it's once every 6 days. And so that confuses me because a lot of people do not have money to pay for their kids to get private lessons.
Right. Yeah.
So how do our kids
Learn.
get into
Kappa.
Get into Kappa? That's the next step. if
Yeah,
you
but
want
then
to
Kappa can't get all the kids. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
but
And then
still-
you ever see their
But-
process? You got to audition.
Right, but
and all
so
that.
the audition process, our kids are not prepared, so how can they get in there? So that
Right.
leaves it wide open for kids from outside the city to be able to come into our school.
that's not
so
fair.
that
There's a lot of-
decreases-
there are
There's
kids
a
from
lot-
outside the city.
There's a ton of kids, so but that
go to
eliminates the
Kappa,
spots
Kappa.
for our kids because they're
Get it
not.
together.
There's no longer opportunities for them to learn in school to get the instruments that we got. I started playing instruments in school in like first grade.
Right.
Yeah.
And
now you have to wait till
like
fifth
singing,
grade?
yeah. Now they have to wait till 5th grade.
And now they want to start doing testing in art and music because you can't evaluate the teacher unless you have test scores.
What are you
Right.
going to test them on? To ring the
wow.
bell? Hey, let's test little Joe.
So I mean, that whole process is just so unfair. It's another process of eliminating our kids from another great program because it's unless you're really gifted, how would you get into Kappa?
Yeah, and
And
art
so-
gives you balance.
It totally
Without
has.
art, you don't have that balance.
That creativity,
Yeah.
the expression. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and we need to they need to bring that back into the schools, and that's just crazy. You shouldn't have art and music every 6 days.
Gym is part of that as well.
Oh, you don't have gym every day?
No,
Some schools do and some don't.
and it's the way your
But
teacher
wait a
works,
minute.
your principal
But then
works
you
to
talk about
budget.
obesity. Michelle
Right.
Obama, you my girl. She got the health thing going on. But if we got gym only once every 6 days, how is that helping? And then they don't like the kids to go outside for recess.
And if you go out for recess, if anybody misbehaves, they make you all sit in the field. So
They sit on the line. They all have to sit on the line. And that's, if you're in trouble in
I
school.
hope I never see that.
the whole class, the
has
whole
to sit on the line. If you ever go past the school, you see the kids sitting on the line. That's
'cause
because
they were bad.
they were bad.
Oh, wow.
And so the restriction
Wow.
is, their restriction in school usually is you miss gym class. Like they take you out of gym. That's a punishment, which makes
Wow.
no sense to me.
It doesn't make
So,
sense
but
to
if
me
you
either.
see
And they
kids
need
all
that
lined
outlet.
up,
They
that's
need that
because
outlet.
they do it. It's
And
very
And I don't know,
natural.
is it me or don't kids run all the time?
Yes, they
So
do.
that-
So that's
what
also
child
part
does
of the
not wanna
problem
run?
that I
We
think
work
what we
with
have
kids
a
and
lot
they
of,
just run around in
I
circles.
think that's a lot of problem issues in the schools because they don't have a chance to release all that
Outlet.
energy
Yeah.
that they're stuck in the classroom all day.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
I know I had to go to gym every day and then we had to pay 10 cents for a uniform and things like that.
Yeah.
And we had to participate, but now they don't participate. So all that energy just balled up sitting in the classroom.
Right.
So I think we need to get back to our gym classes, our music classes, and our arts because there's some great things going
arts
on
is great.
in our community.
Yeah, so it's talking about the arts here in our city. In Pittsburgh, we got a lot of stuff going on as far as entertainment in downtown Pittsburgh. I know who had came. I think somebody. I went to go see Kevin Hart. I love Kevin Hart. And you know what? The parking was nuts down there.
It was
Parking is
packed.
ridiculous.
It was packed.
Like, oh my goodness. But I got there early. See, they ain't nobody wanted. I said, no, we're going to go down early because the parking garages get filled up fast. Then you got to find, in front of the meter.
The size of being crazy is really expensive.
The parking is outrageous.
This is downtown Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Downtown Pittsburgh. So how is that affecting when you do have like local play artists come in and come into downtown and how that plays? I know the August Wilson Center is back up and they have a couple of events going on and they had some plays going on or
Yeah,
something.
there was some events, not really plays yet. And my job, I'm a playwright and an actor, and so one of the things that I see is that not a lot of, when you said local, local people don't want to support the local.
No.
And that's a sad thing. I don't know whether it's just Pittsburgh or whether it's local reactions, but like you said, Kevin Hart, packed.
Kevin Hart,
Tyler Perry,
$75
packed.
Yeah,
Jill Scott,
$75. Go to support your local artists. Or,
And then we asked, as an artist, for you to give us $15, $20.
Oh, I'm
and
not
there's
paying that.
10 people in the audience.
I'm not
That
paying
it doesn't
$10,
make sense.
$20.
It doesn't make sense, and I think it's the mindset, and especially with the August Wilson Center, that this is a $42 million facility
Right.
that was just sitting
Sitting
there.
there, being
Underused, and I love the August Wilson Center. My sister worked in there, and I actually performed on the stage in there. But it was sad because now this art is like a ghost town area. But I think a lot of it is because as African Americans, we don't really come downtown
And
for our
also,
art.
I know in our communities, a lot of times our information is not given out.
That's the real
Too
yes.
late. It's given out too late, and it's not given out properly in the social mediums
Yes.
for everyone to reach it. We have to get better with sharing information beforehand, before the last minute, and also to get people familiar with it.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of great plays have come through my.
And you say, oh, I missed it. Oh, I missed it. And that's the same. I did a play called Straightening Comes, and I tell people about it, and they'll say, why didn't you tell me about this story?
Guess what? Coming down there to see your play was, as far as parking and stuff,
You couldn't make it
I couldn't even make it. And I was supposed to be there to do
Film
a
it,
couple of, get some shots of her doing it. And me and Taylor, we're riding around.
And it's almost impossible.
And it's
And then she
impossible.
missed it.
And by the time we missed the whole show.
Yeah.
Like, so we have entertainment down in town, but I think they can do a little bit better as far as parking. And when we do have events and we do have plays and stuff, make it a little bit more accessible for us to get down there. Because that's probably the reason why people don't come down there.
Because it's hard to get down.
I ain't coming downtown because it's just too much,
Yeah.
too much to deal with. And as far as the diversity issues, as far as entertainment here, like you'll see a lot of stuff going over by PNC or Hines in that area. They have a whole bunch of parking. They be there all day. The police got to tell them not to come until 5 o'clock because the concert don't start till 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
downtown.
But they had ample enough parking.
But they can also sell out in those venues, so they can come to PNC Park, they can come there, they can sell out in those venues, so they can have that ample parking, they can come in trashed parking lots, and we have to, the city has to pay for that.
Good
So it's about,
talking.
but it's all about the people to come out and support it, so we have to find ways to make people to come out and support it better.
We gotta come up with something just to bring them into the city.
And that's what I think it is too, that there's a lack
No, because
of
people be
wanting.
downtown on Monday for Jill Scott.
Oh,
People
yeah.
will go downtown.
Yes.
That's what I mean. They'll find a way. We just have to find a way to engage people to make them become more interested. We have to get the information out sooner. We have to make people more knowledgeable of the things that's going on in our city.
But there's so much social media going on that I
But a
don't
lot of
see
people
why.
they're not utilizing it to its fullest,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are kind of wary
Now, I
of it.
remember back in the day to get all your information on all the concerts and everything that's going
Whammo.
on. Whammo.
Whammo. Yeah, Whammo. Yeah, the radio
Oh,
station. Yeah,
Whammo.
Whammo. And
They
you would hear
used
the
to be on-
Caesar Engler presents.
Exactly.
What? And everybody ran
And
down there.
everybody's there. But the new Whammo,
Do you think that taking arts away from schools has made it so that the generation growing up that
Yes.
doesn't have
It's
the
removed from it.
interest are
Yes.
removed from
I
it?
do because now there's no pinpointing of art is important. If you take something away, it's showing me that it's not important.
And do we do field trips to things like this
Yes,
anymore?
yes,
I
I
we
remember.
do. We do
So
the
when I
field
was in the
trips.
5th grade, I learned about Nikki Giovanni. I learned about all the arts and things like that. When from elementary school, we're not learning about those things.
And so if
our
you don't
kids
learn,
are not
you don't
learning about
know.
those things.
But like
anymore.
we did plays in 3rd through 5th grade.
Yeah,
like,
but they're
do we-
not doing that
They're not
anymore.
doing
I'm not
that
doing that
anymore.
because my son got a scholarship to go in the summertime when he was like in the 4th grade to the CLO. Through Martin Luther King Elementary School, and he did good. And he was like one of the little lead roles, but that went on to Brashear High School where he did 3 plays and was
Star.
the star of the
The
play.
star. And you're right, Monique, because what's happening is, like when I was in elementary school, I have a creative thought process. So I liked doing that, and someone seeing that I like. When the teacher said she likes to write, she likes to act. And so on my own, because I've never went to theater school, so on my own, I've written 14 plays.
Excellent.
Because that's something I like to do. That's an outlet. And actually, living in the inner city, that was my outlet to escape. And so,
I think that would
that's
be
a good
good
way to
for
teach
some of the kids.
Oh, yes.
To helping them escape some of the things that's going
yeah.
on in at home or in their neighborhood. Some of the arts we need to just bring back. They can express themselves in paint and
And
sing
dancing.
and
Right.
dancing and just.
And then
all
also
that.
part of the process is because it's been removed from the school. A lot of, as I said before, a lot of parents cannot afford the private lessons because the lessons are really expensive to put your children in.
But you
those
know what?
things.
I was just saying today, I teach a free class. It's called Life, Stages, and Pages. It's free.
I saw it at
Only
the Hill
8
House.
children come to that class. It's free every Saturday.
I saw the
every
pictures at the
Saturday.
Hill House.
And the little girls that
Do
come,
the
they are
Hill Houses keep the papers or do they hand?
no, they're
hand
handing out. They're on the
they're
wall,
on
and
the
you've seen
wall.
it. Like
I
you've seen
saw
it.
it,
Life
and I
Stages.
Hill House?
And I posted it. Yeah, it's on
Okay.
the little thing.
Life
I posted it
Stages.
on my page.
gotta
There's
bring-
only
they gotta
8
bring the
to
papers
10
out of the
children
Hill
that
House.
come,
No,
and
we
it's a
have to-
free. It's a
no,
free
no, no,
class.
But we have to go and look for stuff too.
Yes,
Because I realize
you got to
that
do footwork if you want your kids
it's
to
sitting.
be
I
active.
mean,
you
I
gotta
know
do
when I
footwork.
go any place I go. Like when I came in here, I look to see if there's a bulletin board. I go and look and see if there's
That's
like
'cause you're
racks of papers.
responsible. We have to-
Right.
we have
and
to
so
be
when I see
responsible.
it, what my page is filled with all information and things that's going on in the community. Because wherever I'm at, I see things and I post it because I want to share it because I want our
Yeah.
communities to be knowledgeable about things.
So that's one thing you got to be, like we always say, me and Tiff, we always say, be an advocate for your child, for your community,
Right.
for yourself. And if you want your children to move in different directions and positive directions, you have to seek them out sometimes. They ain't
Oh,
just ain't
yeah,
gonna come
yeah,
knock on
yeah.
your door and say, come to this free
And
class
that's
at the
part
Hill
of,
House.
and I mean that's actually really part of our community's problems that we're waiting for someone to come and give it to us. Now we have to start reaching out. I mean to network on our own to make some things
You take the
happen.
ownership to do
Right.
that, and we want to tell our own stories, you know. And if our stories are not preserved, then we can't do that.
Right. So once again, we had a lovely show, and we can talk forever because
And eat cake.
Eat cake.
See her beautiful cake? She baked she slaved all morning for us.
It looks like it's about to melt. But once again, thank you so much, you lovely ladies, for coming.
Thank you for having
Thanks.
us.
for being a part of today's issues. Thank you, Miss Tiffany. Thank you, Ms. Kim. And
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
We have
Ms.
to do it
Pam.
again soon.
Oh, yeah, you know, we'll be back around this table, different cake, different day. Thank you so much. This is Monique Flowers, and you are watching Today's Issues.
Yeah.
And you're watching
Today's Issues.
Though I'm missing you, I'll find a way to get through. Living without you, 'cause you were my sister, my strength, and my pride. Only God may know why. Still I will get by.